Buy one large single-topping pizza, get the second 50% off. Only at Casey's.
Now at 5, how a proposed $16 million bond would benefit the Grove police and fire departments. Plus, a Joplin man is sentenced in the shooting death of his teenage daughter. And U.S. Customs and Border Protection say more than 10,000 migrants illegally crossed the southern border yesterday, the third straight day.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The city of Grove, Oklahoma will hold a special election on January 9th. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. On the ballot is a proposition to increase the sales tax by 0.6%. That new sales tax would go solely into funding new buildings for the Grove police and fire departments. The departments have been in the same buildings for the last 40 years. The population of Grove increasing, the city says the need for better facilities is higher than ever.
We've known for some years, obviously, that we needed new facilities. Chief Morris has been looking for quite a while at different facilities to see what would be appropriate for our area too. And a way that we could do it as economically as possible, obviously.
City says this tax would be in place for 15 years to pay off the new facilities. Pittsburgh Parks and Rec Department today kicked off its final Camp Now and Then of the year. For $20 a day, kids ages 5 to 12 can head to the Lincoln Center for a number of activities, including games and crafts. Organizers say it provides a chance for kids to socialize during the holiday break.
The purpose of our Camp Now and Then is to give kids an opportunity to grow socially, creativity, in a safe space while providing childcare to Southeast Kansas.
That camp runs through the 29th, but it's going to be closed next Monday and Tuesday for the holiday. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for a first look at the weather.
Well, of course, a lot of people out starting to travel and also still shopping, which you can see on Rangeline. The traffic's been heavy all day long, and we have started to get a few little sprinkles, a couple light showers, so be careful if you're going to be out. 56 Joplin, and then just south Pittsburgh sitting at 56 degrees as well. Most of us across the board, mid to upper 50s to near 60 degrees. We have these southerly winds, so it's still breezy. South winds 5, upwards of 15, gusts maybe a little bit higher than that, and that's going to stick around for us tonight. Look at the spotty little showers. These are very light, but we do have them out there, and the rain is starting to increase just west of Wichita down toward Oklahoma City, and this is going to head toward us as we go through the overnight hours tonight. We'll slip back into lower 50s. Rain increasing, all those details here in just a bit.
See you soon. A judge sentences a Joplin man in connection with the shooting death of his 17-year-old daughter. Todd Hayes is sentenced to life in prison for the second-degree murder of his daughter, Prayer Nicholson, in January of 2022. A jury last month said Mays acted with deliberation in that fatal shooting. Prosecutors had originally charged Mays with first-degree murder, but the jury could not reach a unanimous decision. Mays was also sentenced to a consecutive 15-year sentence on an armed criminal action charge. The White House is strongly criticizing Texas Governor Greg Abbott's decision to fly migrants to sanctuary cities, calling it a political stunt. That move comes as federal data obtained by CBS News shows more than 10,000 migrants crossed the southern border into the U.S. illegally each of the last 3 days. Omar Villafranca reports from the border town of Eagle Pass, Texas.
The scene Thursday in Eagle Pass, Texas has become familiar. Large numbers of migrants gathered in a makeshift staging area waiting to be processed. On Wednesday, Border Patrol agents apprehended more than 10,000 migrants, according to federal data obtained by CBS News. Eagle Pass is in one of the busiest sectors for illegal crossings, which is taking a toll on the city.
The hospital is saturated on a daily basis. Our own citizens are affected and cannot receive the medical attention that they need.
Texas sent a plane of migrants to Chicago, an escalation of Republican Governor Greg Abbott's strategy to transport migrants to Democrat-led cities across the country. The move sparked an outcry in Chicago.
People like the governor of Texas, Governor Abbott, are engaged in human trafficking.
Outside a shelter in Chicago that houses migrants, a memorial was set up for a 5-year-old who died Monday after becoming ill. The cause of death is under investigation and is raising questions about the care migrants are receiving.
There is no reason that a child who crossed 7 countries should die in a shelter in Chicago.
From Chicago to Texas, leaders are making the same demand: more federal resources to address the crisis. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Eagle Pass, Texas.
According to a White House spokesman, President Biden has been clear that the U.S. needs significant policy changes, that the immigration system is broken, and that he's working to find a bipartisan agreement with Congress that will make a real difference. That's a quote. A mass shooting at a university in Prague today left at least 15 people dead and injured more than 20 others. Police say a student opened fire at Charles University in the philosophy department building. His name has not been released. Authorities say he died at the scene. No motive has been revealed. Police say this is the worst mass shooting in the history of the Czech Republic. Today marks 35 years since a terrorist bomb took down a Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland. Family members and loved ones of those killed in the attack gathered at Arlington National Cemetery for a solemn ceremony. All 259 people aboard that fateful flight and 11 others on the ground died when the 747 blew up over Scotland shortly after taking off from London's Heathrow Airport. Each year, the victims are remembered with a special ceremony and a moment of silence.
Today and every day, we remember the 270 beautiful souls that were taken far too soon. Nothing will ever diminish the love we have for them. We are grateful for all of you who have chosen to stand with us and remember them.
The Libyan accused of making that bomb was brought into U.S. custody just last year. He faces trial in May of 2025. Still ahead, the spread of respiratory viruses.
'Tis the season for illnesses that can ruin your holiday. I'm Danya Backus with what you can do to keep your family healthy.
Plus, the FDA approves a new tool to test for opioid use disorder. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, the FDA has approved a tool that uses genetic testing to help assess whether certain people are at a risk of developing opioid use disorder. The Autogenomics Avert D test is meant for adults considering a short-term course of oral opioid pain meds, such as after a planned surgical procedure. It uses a cheek swab sample to analyze 15 genetic markers involved in the brain's reward pathways and associated with addiction. It can be prescribed only to people who have no prior use of opioids, and patients must consent to that test. Number of respiratory viruses are going around right now, and they could ruin your holiday. New data from the CDC shows a troubling jump in the number of patients with COVID, flu, and RSV needing to be hospitalized. Reporter Danya Backus has more on how you can try to keep your family healthy.
As we spend more time indoors, cases of COVID, flu, and RSV are rising.
Indoor environments, particularly in the winter, tend to be a little bit lower humidity, and that's been shown to help transmit some respiratory viruses.
Dr. Andrew Pekash is a virologist at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Data shows over the past several weeks, hospitalizations rose 200% for the flu, 51% for COVID-19, and 60% for RSV.
While we're seeing increases in influenza in particular at this time of year, they're not as severe as they were last year. And when we dig down deep at the viruses that are circulating right now, they all seem to be pretty good matches for the viruses that are in the vaccine.
But vaccination rates are lagging. The CDC issued an advisory that low vaccination rates against flu, COVID, and RSV with increasing cases could lead to more severe disease and strain on the healthcare system. Another thing we can all do to help prevent the spread of these viruses, pay attention to symptoms and stay at home if sick. Dr. Pekash says testing is also critical and needs to be done early after symptoms.
We have to deal with these respiratory infections every year. We shouldn't ignore them, but we have a lot of tools to be better prepared to deal with them, whether they be vaccines ahead of time, the extended testing that we can do right now for viruses, and the availability of antivirals.
He says using these tools can minimize the impact of these infections and keep more people safe. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Antivirals for COVID and flu must be taken as soon as symptoms begin, which is why it's critical to test early. Researchers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology are working on a way to fight the deadly MRSA infection. Using an AI technique known as deep learning, they've discovered a class of antibiotic compounds that can kill drug-resistant bacterium. Researchers hope this finding will lead to new, more effective drug treatments. And nutritional deficiency is far from a leading cause of death in the U.S., but it is having an impact, a real measurable impact. The mortality rate from having a poor diet has grown significantly enough in recent years to impact life expectancy. More than 21,000 people died from malnutrition in the U.S. in 2022. The rate is more than doubled over the past 5 years. That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, a money plan for the new year.
Millions of Americans want to improve their finances in 2024. I'm Jill Schlesinger with tips to help you keep your financial resolutions.
Plus, we have light rain rolling through for us tonight. Those details coming up next. Well, of course, a cloudy day for us today. We've had some sprinkles, a couple light little showers, but temperatures have been great all day long. And today's actually the shortest day of the year. Of course, not in time, but in daylight. Officially, winter begins this evening at about 9:30 Central Time, but daylight hours only 9 hours and 36 minutes for us today. Now we start to head back the other direction as we go through the next 6 months. Looking outside, nice shot, indigo sky, casino and resort, socked in with the clouds, couple little sprinkles, some very light little showers out there, and that is what we're going to see through the evening hours. You can see the spotty little green blobs popping up, rolling off toward the east. Again, these are very light, very scattered, but they are going to be out there as we go through the evening hours. You can see a couple from Monette, Cassville, Pineville, one just east Pittsburgh, and then just kind of spotty little sprinkles. However, look at the rain. So here's Hayes, Salina, Wichita, west of the I-35 corridor. These extend down into Oklahoma and Texas. It's a weak wave, but it is going to rotate through tonight, and it will give us some light rain showers, most of us, as we go through the overnight hours. Now, behind it, we have this system between San Francisco and Los Angeles. This is a stronger storm system. Look at the spin, the upper level low. That system will affect us as we head into Christmas Eve and then also Christmas Day. All right, rain chances really shoot up this evening through tonight and then slowly taper off as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow. So let's go through time. Look at the rain increasing. Here's 10:30 p.m. Increasing Kansas, Oklahoma, and starting to get into southwestern Missouri. Again, this is going to be light rain, periods of light rain. Here's 4 o'clock in the morning. As we go through the morning hours, 8, 9 a.m., this will be kind of the last little batch. Behind that, just kind of random scattered sprinkles, kind of like what we're seeing today. In fact, our western counties, Chanute, Yates Center, Independence, Iola, you may get a little bit of sunshine very late in the day tomorrow. Rainfall is going to be light. I think most of us 1/10, maybe 2/10 of an inch in spots, but most of us very light, so about 1/10 of an inch, maybe a little bit more than that. Here's your day planner, 9 a.m., 52, 55 by 1. You can see mainly just cloudy skies as we go through the afternoon. Now let's focus on that next system. So here it is. This is Saturday morning. Watch, it kicks out. Christmas Eve, we have the rain, we have the snow. And then this big upper level low just kind of sits near us Christmas Day into Tuesday, bringing us colder air as we go through next week. So it's going to affect us for about 3 or 4 days. All right, Saturday mainly dry. Rain increases Saturday night, may even have a few thunderstorms into Sunday morning. So very good chances for rain Christmas Eve. High temp of 58. Only 42. We're going to have dropping temperatures Christmas Day with some scattered showers across the area. So we do have a lot of changes moving in. All right, let's go 58 tomorrow, 66 Saturday. Saturday is going to be a pretty good day. 58 Christmas Eve, only 42 on Christmas Day, and then mainly just chilly next week.
It sounds crazy with the winter officially starting this evening, but Saturday might be a good day to get outside.
Not too bad.
Not bad at all. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, an insurance agency in Carthage is expanding with a new $5 million facility. Topping today's Consumer Watch, a Carthage, Missouri-based insurance company agency, it's moving its headquarters to a new facility in town. Specialty Risk Insurance is building a new $5.3 million facility. It's going to be just off I-44, and it'll allow for continuing growth of the agency. They expect it to create more than 200 jobs. Specialty Risk Insurance also has locations in Joplin, Sarcoxy, Nevada, and one each in both Arizona and Texas. The new year is quickly approaching, and Americans are thinking about their resolutions for 2024. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says financial resolutions need a solid game plan.
If your New Year's resolutions involve money, you are far from alone. According to a survey from Fidelity Investments, 66% of Americans are considering a financial change. For the 15th consecutive year, the top ones are save more, pay down debt, and spend less. While these goals are admirable, they need to be more concrete and specific. So instead of the generic intention to save more, a tangible alternative is contribute 6% of my salary to my retirement plan. Instead of reduce debt, write down how much extra money you're going to put towards an outstanding credit card balance or student loan. And for spend less, determine where exactly and by how much you can cut back. These resolutions do share something in common. They require you to understand how much money is coming in and going out of your household. Before you panic, I'm not going to tell you to create a budget, but you do need to track your money, and technology makes it easy. A few apps that have free versions include Pocket Guard, Good Budget, and Honeydew, which caters to couples. For upgraded features, there's the app called You Need a Budget. It's $99 a year after an initial free trial. In New York, I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
It might cost travelers slightly more to take a road trip this Christmas. Gas prices fell to a yearly low of $3.06 a gallon Monday, but they're starting to inch back up and have gained 6 cents since then. That puts the price of a gallon of gas 17 cents less than last month, 2 cents more than this time last year. Attacks on oil tankers in the Red Sea have led crude oil prices to rise. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, how airports are using AI to help flyers find lost items. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on that proposed $16 million bond to improve the facilities of the Grove, Oklahoma police and fire departments. Plus, we're going to meet the first American couple to get married on Cherokee County's Rainbow Bridge as we look back on its 100-year history. And we're going to see where Pitt State football landed in the final rankings of the year. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. This is interesting. New research shows apes can recognize old friends they haven't seen for decades. And it's the longest lasting social memory ever documented outside humans. Researchers found chimpanzees and bonobos were able to recognize photos of former group mates more than 25 years after last seeing them in the flesh. Photos of old friends elicited an even more positive response. Researchers used a non-invasive eye tracking device to measure where the apes looked and for how long. Of course, we share plenty of DNA and traits with our ape cousins, and it's interesting to know that they can, of course, distinguish faces of other members of their own species, but after 25 years.
I know, that's crazy. I would struggle with that.
Yes, I would too.
All right, light showers rolling in for us tonight. On and off showers during the morning tomorrow, and then mostly cloudy, high of 58.
See you right back here at 6. Let's make it a great evening.